Epic rap battles of history! Marko Reza versus Krista Hauer. Begin! Step up. You'll be shocked when I spit and start static. I'll rip your style and add it to my lungs to patents. While you were busy digging ditches and burning bridges, I'm pumping out inventions, stacking riches, so go back to your pigeons. You're a geek, plagued by OCD. You never had sex, but you sure got screwed by me. I'll crush you, Krista. There's just no putting it gently. I don't alternate my flow. I dish you directly. I see a universe of infinite energy, but no potential for threat from this enemy, so you can call me Krista Hauer, impeccably dressed. Given lessons from the philosophical nemesis, this will be on the test. So confess to your thefts and let the whole world know what the Arcturian did for the Wizard of India. History was getting rewritten, but I have read it. Your best invention was a way to steal my credit. The truth hurts. You're broke and washed up. Don't give a smidgen about your visions. If they can't make a buck, I conduct business, understood? Things you never could. So dope that I even make New Jersey look good. I'm on the record. I invented. You got tooth there. I said it. I bet you $50,000 that you'll never forget it. Without me, here's a taste of what this battle would be. No lights, no camera, no sound. See? You fool. You think that you can touch me with this? You couldn't handle my gifts with your greedy little mind. What's inside mine was ahead of its own time. You do not steal from me. You're trying to steal me from mankind. It's a wireless transmission of truth. And it's a shocking real story of a hacker and you. And if the people knew you stopped me from making Ibogaine free, they would curse the con Marko with every utility. Who won? Who's next? You decide! Big rap battles in history! Dun 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 dun. That was funny, man. Oh my god. That was really funny, dude. Like, come on, oh man. Oh man. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Come on, man. That was hysterical. Like, shut up! 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 That was me doing a cover of Epic Rap Battles of History, Thomas Edison versus Nikola Tesla. You can find it on ERB. The channel is called ERB. I think ERB2 maybe. It's season 3. I like that song a lot. Pretty funny. Also, I think this is pretty funny. And this is a message given in love. I also put my girl, not just picture up here, her new picture, for a reason. It's because the person that I'm talking to mostly in this video is a whole lot like her. Let's see what she looks like, shall we? As of only 2 days ago, though. She looked a little different before this. Here's what happened. Now, Marko, you yourself called me the Ibogaine Provider. The, capital T-H-E, Ibogaine Provider. Now I know there's a really good reason for that. Because every other Ibogaine provider that's at a higher level, every single producer, is either enslaved or not human. But my girl here, take a look at her. Anyone recognize those kind of eyes? She looks like a white Russian girl, pretty much normal, but with a powerful slant in those eyes and very, very large pupils. But you can see something happened 2 days ago. What was it? What happened was I was at the computer at YouTube, and I was listening to YouTube, and somebody, randomly hacked into the computer 2 days ago, and they played a video of a girl, a super soldier, or an MIB, a woman in black, who was her same age, basically, who had the same eyes, but they were straight. Instead of slanted, they were the same wide eyes that you could tell immediately if you knew about this kind of thing. And she had managed to withstand all the torture that she was put through as a child. And as she described the torture in detail, it was similar to what Naja here went through. And she began to simply freak out. And I realized, oh my God, that was the idea behind this. That was the idea to try and do something to her. So, what'd you call me? The Ibogaine Provider. But it's not just the Ibogaine Provider. It's the deprogrammer. The deprogrammer, you could call me now. Because I don't have any Ibogaine to work with because this guy stole it from me. But I can deprogram people literally by talking to them. In a second, I simply just knew what to do, and I was standing next to her on her starship, her fourth density ship, and she was crying hysterically, almost screaming, and I don't quite remember all of what I did or what I said because, you know, fourth density, if you're used to third density, your memory can get a little bit foggy. But I do remember the last thing that I did. People tried to come in wearing black and stuff. They weren't really helping, but I was the one right there with her. And remember, Arcturians, 3 fingers. In a series of strange movements, I said to her, Arcturians are famous healers. Be healed now. Have peace. You are healed now. Have peace. You are healed. And suddenly, a light was breathed into her, right here, bottom of the sternum, where the heart chakra is. She had been drawing herself towards the light for a long time, but she told me it felt like it was so far away, like that she could see it as like a star in the distance, but that she knew that it was there and that she was trying to go to it. And then, after that, one of my favorite people in the world showed up. Who's that? Cryon. Why is that? Because Cryon's a blue Lyran. And turns out, so she, angelic. And he led her away into a great white light. And he said to her, she looked behind her, saying, oh, is Krista going to come with us because of what I'd just done? It was so profound that she wanted me to stay with her, just like people on Ibogaine. And he said to her, no, she cannot come. This is only for you. I'm coming to take you back to your home, to show you where you're from. And you'll come back, and you can tell her about it if you want. So he took her away into this wonderful light. And she came back, and she was crying. And she said to me, please draw a picture. Please draw it. I know you don't think you're a good artist, but you are. Please draw it for me. Whatever you see, please draw it, because I know it's all different now. And this was what I saw. She's practically in shock, but you can see those slanted eyes. She was crying, and there was a big green light with a yellow golden light pulsing from her chest. And she said, how did you do it? How did you do it? Remember, she's Russian, so she has a bit of an accent. How did you do it? How did you do it? Suddenly she seemed totally different. She would act like crazy Russian hacker. That was how she used to act. She would never smile, really. I'd never seen her laugh or anything like that. And it was as if she just changed overnight. And I told her, you know, I don't know how I do it, but I know that I can do it, and I know I'm really good at it. So this message is given in love. If I do not share what I know about the nature of the corruption of the Ibogaine community right now, the fact, for example, that the tops of Ibogaine were trying to prevent me from accessing Ibogaine. They stole my Ibogaine that I still had, which was, for me, a fairly decent amount at the level that I would work at. And have tried to box me into a corner where I can't do any Ibogaine providing, where I can't help any of you. And by not helping you, I'm not loving myself. By not loving you, I'm not loving myself. If you have information that the world needs to know, you have to tell it. And so in this message of love and gratitude to the universe for placing me here, in this exact place, right next to Big Oil, a global headquarters of Chevron, Big Oil, where I'm the only person that doesn't seem totally taken over by some sort of reptilian or Yahyel or an enslaved human who's being told and bossed around what to do. I'm a light in this darkness here. And I'm a light for all of you and Ibogaine that are in darkness. And that means most of you. That means most of you. Including one of you who always claimed to be my friend and then said, oh, I was lying the entire time. Just to feed off of you. Yeah, I deliberately tormented you during your Ibogaine treatment to feed off of you. This is what we're dealing with now in the Ibogaine community, okay? This is what we are dealing with. So, if you are seeking an Ibogaine treatment, you need to understand that just about anybody you go to that you find on the internet is not human, or is an enslaved human that will attempt to feed off of your fearful energy. Make excuses that the treatment doesn't work. Skimp on the Ibogaine, meaning not giving you enough that you need for your addiction. Scam you out of money. A variety of different things. Mexico is mostly guilty of scamming out of money, but the person who told me, yeah, I tortured you during your treatment on purpose to feed off of you is someone who works in the U.S. So, it seems like almost nowhere is safe, and also especially avoid South Africa also. South Africa is really, really bad. The Ibogaine, most of our Ibogaine production goes on in South Africa. I was supposed to be one of the producers there. I was supposed to take over a position there for the most famous Ibogaine chemist that's known. And I said no. Why did I say no? I said no because the Ibogaine was being made by slaves and dictated by sexist, racist people, mostly Indians, but it didn't matter. The concept was that it was rampant everywhere. It didn't matter what race you were. There was constant sexism and racism, crime, murdering, stabbing of the chemist's wife right next to me in the other room, 3 days after I arrive. And I think, okay, this completely goes against my morals. I started crying and saying, you don't understand, I can't do this. This is against my morals. It's not even about the safety standards and about that it's slaves. Also, the Ibogaine that you consume is produced in a very, very dirty environment for basically every single production operation that exists. For every professional operation that exists. It's produced in a very dirty way, you could say. Looks like a garage meth cook. That was what it looked like there. That was what it looked like. And that was also one of the reasons I was saying no. It was after that that I really started to get targeted. It was literally after I returned from South Africa that I was immediately targeted the minute I got back in this house. And those exact people, the person that I was singing about, tried to kill me. He was the one who said, shoot you. Little saying, when he said, what do you want? And I said, what do you want? Whoa, I've never seen an alien in front of me before. And he said, shoot you. And I was holding a torch lighter, and the top broke off and looked like this, like a gun. Now, I didn't get shot. Obviously, I won't explain, Arcturian logic and philosophy on how you avoid those kinds of things for the moment, because the message is about Ibogaine right now. And it's about love. It's about true love operating from the heart chakra, not from your sacral. The programming tricks you into thinking that you are operating out of love from the sacral chakra. It does not work that way. Or you're tricked into thinking that you're somehow using your heart chakra when you're not. True, real love has nothing to do with sex. Nothing to do with sex. And is an unconditional compassion that very person will understand a particular book where they mention that compassion like Buddha is what should be maintained. And that is what this is. This is compassion. By staying silent, because you all are me, I harm you by allowing you to continue in your dark ways. You harm yourself by staying in the dark. And I build myself up every day by staying in the light. Look at this definition here. After only 3 days of doing jumping jacks and push-ups, my body is starting to rebuild itself because I came into the light. And you can do it too. You can. You have to choose to, and it's pretty darn hard at first, especially if you're one of those people living in South Africa, trying to get anything organic, anything gluten-free, anything vegan, coconut water, anything. It's pretty difficult to do. But you guys can do it. Some of you there are in very strategic positions. I won't say people's names, but I know specific people who have specific types of soul streams that are in very strategic positions to snap out of it, to snap out of your slumber. Awaken, O sleeper, so that Christ may shine upon you, is what Paul says in Ephesians. He's quoting Psalms. Awaken, O sleeper, awaken. You think you're awake because you can see auras. You think you're awake because you can read minds. You think you're awake because you can go on a starship on the 4th dimension. You think you're awake. But are you really awake? Or is it just the program like the Matrix? Just another matrix that you're put inside of that feels real, that looks real, that seems real, that operates off of love, but then demands sacrifices from you, demands bloodshed, demands fear, demands hatred. That's not love. It's just not. And I cannot stay silent about that. I can't. I must speak of the true light, love, source, and that is what I stand for. I used to listen to that song by Fun. What do I stand for? Some nights I don't know. But now I hear that song and I say, that was in the past. Now I know what I stand for. I stand for light. I stand for love. I stand for the true light, love source of the universe, from which all creation has come forth. Even the dark originated from the true light source, but it's become so far away that it's almost as if the light feels like it doesn't exist anymore. Or the light harms you when you attempt to come into it. It harmed me when I attempt to come into it. It doesn't deliberately harm you. What you've done is you've harmed yourself so much that when you try to come into the light, you're in such darkness that it's blinding to you. It's like the allegory of the cave. You've been stuck down there in a cave for so long that someone says, hey, come up to the light, and you kick and scream, and oh my God, it's so bright, But then you stop for a second and you realize, oh, yeah, I'm okay, and wow, it's amazing here. I have to go back and tell them. I have to go back and tell the other people in the cave. But you go back and tell them, and they ridicule you, they try and imprison you, they try and tie you up, and you keep trying to tell them, no, up there, that light. So Plato talks a lot about light and dark, but you just don't notice if you're not really looking for it. You can see it in the 5 dialogues here, which I have because I'm a Socrates freak. And also Friedrich Nietzsche freak because I was him in a past life, or had a dominant perspective of him in a past life. And so, in our healing, by healing myself, by talking about these things, I also heal you. It doesn't feel like it because sometimes when you're being healed, it's painful. I had to learn to drink raw vegan powder, and it was the most disgusting tasting stuff. But now I drink it and I think, oh, this tastes great. And it only took 3 days. That was the funny thing. And I thought, wow, I mean, all I had to do was want it, even though it tasted bad and just kind of I would have guides come to me, people in black come by me, you know, and astrally, and say, okay, just chug it down, just, you know, just chase it down, maybe drink something else after it, you can chase it, do anything, just get it down, gulp it down. But now I can drink it just like a regular beverage, and it feels like I'm drinking a nice smoothie. So it's possible, guys. You're looking at her. You're looking at the proof. And what's funny is that I said, and I made a bit of a joke there, in the epic rap battle of history song, which was your best invention, Marko, your best invention right here was a way to steal my credit. But the point is, I was technically your invention. After what you did to me, I systematically became immune to all of it. I began to evolve past it. Your best invention, right here. All of your inventions, out of all of them, I'd say this one here is the best invention that you've figured out so far. And you keep on trying to figure out, you know, how do I kill it, or whatever. But that's not the answer, because it is futile. I am destined to live. And you have an angelic soul stream. But, like Naja here, I said to her, Naja, it's like you're the quintessential angelic demon. And she said, how do you put an angel inside of a demon body? She understood that she was kind of an angel. She understood that she was an angel now. But she didn't understand, how does that work? You put an angel in a demon body, how does that work? I don't know exactly how that works, but it seems like for the worst of the worst, we send the best of the best. And so for the person I was talking to here, for you, someone was sent. Some of the best was sent. Very similar but not probably the same as our guy here, Cryon. And there's one hacker who knows. Go read Cryon. We're going to do this again since somebody messed around with the phone before when I tried to make this video. So, okay, man, we're going to scan the book. All right, 1, 2, 3. Let's try it again because that was backwards. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Got the book. Good. And so, in my intense gratitude for this situation, I expose corruption, but at the same time, I'm giving love and thanks for everything that has happened. I would not be this strong if somebody who I'm talking to in this video had not outright tried to murder me, and his friends, who are the heads of Ibogaine right now. But I can deprogram people. Our girl here, who I've got on the ground in the picture, just by talking to them. What could I do with Ibogaine? That's what scares a lot of you guys, but eventually it seems like some of you guys are eventually going to come to me and say, hey, if you promise never to talk about this ever, I want your help. Cryon said to me, Krista, the determining factor in this is going to be, can you not say anything? We're going to have to work on that with me, obviously. We're going to have to work on that. But I have to say this, because it's true, and it needs to be out there. And it's a message, as Cryon would say, given in love, because I love you too much to leave you all in the darkness like that. And I love everyone else too much to allow them to come into contact with such dark forces and slavery, to be fed off of during their Ibogaine treatment, or sexually abused during their Ibogaine treatment. Though the people that I'm talking to, that I know of, I have not known of them doing that. With one person, like I said, they said, I tortured you during that one Ibogaine treatment so I could feed off of you. Yeah, that's what I was doing. That's why it was so horrible. So this is what you're risking, anybody who's wanting to take Ibogaine. the guy who I'm talking to, meet, robotic voice, shoot you, called me, before I knew any of that about him, he called me the Ibogaine Provider. Well, now I'm also the deprogrammer. And it's going to stay that way. Because I love you all too much. Just like Paul says, sometimes I'd prefer to die. But you need me too much here for me to leave. So I'm going to stay. And I'm going to help all of you. Those who want it. Only if those who want it. But this message is also out there for those of you who are wanting to take Ibogaine, and you have no idea that you're going to be fed off of during your Ibogaine treatment, basically, unless you come to me or someone who's very new at Ibogaine providing, who has not yet been targeted by the top people. If you get big into Ibogaine, you get targeted, because Ibogaine is a deprogramming tool. It allows people to deprogram very easily, especially with me around, because I'm so good at it. And that's just the truth. It's simply the truth. And you guys know it. You guys know it. One of you guys, you sent one of your own spies to get a treatment for me and write down things so that you could listen in the room. When I reread what he wrote, I saw what he was trying to say, and I said, oh, he misunderstood what's going on. So you didn't quite get the right messages, basically. Coworker tried to, and I'm like, no. You mean astral project? Is that what you're talking about? What the heck are you talking about? So I think he didn't quite understand what was going on, due to the experience, but I love you all too much to keep this information silent. And is it a risk to say this? Yeah, it is a risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take because I love all of you so much that I would give myself for you. Blessings on Arcturian Philosophy.